Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today we're taking a closer look at the United Kingdom. Not just as a single nation, but really as this fascinating tapestry of cultures. We want to understand what truly makes each unique identity tick, kind of peeling back the layers beyond the surface. Okay, let's unpack this.
And what's fascinating here is that our sources for this are these really detailed research notes. They cover Northern Ireland, Scotland, Wales, London, and even the British nobility. So it gives us this truly panoramic view of the UK's, well, incredibly diverse heritage. Our mission, really, is to pull out the most surprising facts, the key insights, basically giving you a shortcut to being genuinely well-informed about all the nuances of British identity.
Yeah, and this isn't just going to be a list of facts, is it? We're aiming for a journey into the heart of traditions, history, daily life. The things that shape people and places across this, well, amazing collection of nations and regions. Prepare for some, hopefully, aha moments. Let's dive right in, maybe starting with a place known for its incredible resilience. Northern Ireland, it's a land marked by this profound historical divide, isn't it, between Catholic nationalist communities, who largely see themselves as Irish, and Protestant Unionist communities, who tend to identify as British. But what's really striking, I think, is that alongside this deep division, you have these equally strong community traditions. The incredible resilience and this distinctive humor and wit, like a grit with a smile kind of attitude, plus this really strong emphasis on hospitality and local pride.
That coexistence is precisely what's so, well, fascinating and complex. To really grasp it, you have to look at the history. The partition of Ireland in 1921 is key. That left Northern Ireland as part of the UK. And then, of course, came the Troubles. That period from the late 1960s up to 1998, a really violent sectarian conflict. Events like Bloody Sunday in Derry back in '72, British troops firing on unarmed protesters. They're deeply, deeply ingrained in public memory. Now, the Good Friday Agreement in 1998 brought a, let's say, fragile peace. It set up power-sharing institutions, which was huge, former adversaries governing together. But unfortunately, recent tensions over Brexit and the Irish border, they've sort of resurfaced some of those old anxieties. It shows how delicate that balance still is.
Right. So in a way, the traditions that have emerged are kind of a reflection of both that divide and that resilient shared spirit.
Yeah.
How does that actually play out in, daily life and popular traditions?
Well, you see it very directly. On the Unionist side, you have the 12th of July parades. They commemorate the Battle of the Boyne, a really pivotal Protestant victory. It's a massive display. And Bonfire Night on July 11th, that can be quite controversial, often very political, but it's a deeply ingrained Unionist tradition. But then you have St. Patrick's Day. While it's pan-Irish, it's celebrated pretty widely across the whole region, showing that broader connection. And sports are huge. Hurling and Gaelic football are really prominent in nationalist communities, but rugby and soccer are popular overall. Sometimes they act as shared ground. Other times, well, they can reinforce those distinct identities too.
That's quite a dynamic. Does that same kind of duality, that tension and connection, play out in Northern Ireland's music scene? Because it's known for being pretty vibrant.
Oh, absolutely it does. Belfast, for instance, gave us the legend Van Morrison. But its punk rock scene during the Troubles was incredibly influential. Think about bands like Stiff Little Fingers. They formed right in the middle of the conflict, and their music had this raw energy that really reflected the times. And the undertones from Derry captured a similar youthful spirit, didn't they? Beyond that, though, the traditions of Irish folk music are incredibly strong. You've got unique instruments like the bodhrán, that hand drum, and the lambic drum, that huge, powerful drum you often hear in Unionist parades. Very resonant.
And when it comes to distinctive food, Northern Ireland definitely offers some proper hearty fare. There's the Ulster fry, that iconic breakfast bacon, egg, soda bread, potato bread, the works. And you got the pasty supper, that deep-fried meat patty, and champ, love champ, mashed potatoes with scallions, right? Simple but delicious. And maybe something a bit more unique, dulse, that dried seaweed snack.
Yeah, dulces is definitely traditional. And in terms of people and pop culture, Northern Ireland's produced some amazing talent. Actors like Liam Neeson, Jamie Dornan, the golfer Rory McIlroy, and the Nobel Prize-winning poet Seamus Heaney. Really significant figures. And, shows like Derry Girls have done a wonderful job. It's comedic, yes, but also quite poignant. It offers this really accessible window into life during the Troubles. And films like Kenneth Branagh's Belfast from 2021 capture that essence too, growing up amidst the conflict. It reinforces that characteristic wry humor, the sarcasm, that sort of understated wit we talked about.
Definitely. And you can't really talk about Northern Ireland without mentioning its famous cities and landmarks. Belfast, the capital. You've got the Titanic Belfast Museum, which is stunning. The Peace Walls, too, with those powerful murals separating communities. Very moving. And Stormont, the Parliament building, home to that power-sharing assembly. Then there's Derry, or Londonderry, that historic walled city. It has such a profound and visible Troubles history. It really draws you in.
And the language elements are quite unique too. English is dominant, of course. But you'll hear Irish, Gaelic, and also Ulster Scots spoken in certain communities. The Belfast accent, often affectionately called Northern Iron, is particularly strong, very distinctive. And the slang is great. You'll hear wee for little all the time. Creek for fun, you know? What's the creek? Bout key, which just means how are you? And catch yourself on telling someone to get real. It's also interesting, Belfast's Latin motto, pro tanto quid retribuomus. It means, what shall we give in return for so much? Quite a powerful reflection of that spirit, isn't it?
It really is. Okay, so we've explored Northern Ireland's unique blend of resilience and deep historical identity. Here's where it gets really interesting. Now, let's connect this to a land just as fierce in its identity, shaped by ancient battles and a powerful sense of distinction, Scotland. Right, stepping into Scotland, you immediately feel it, don't you? That fierce national identity. Many Scots genuinely see themselves as culturally distinct from the rest of the UK. I think that's fair to say. This is a place just steeped in incredible storytelling, rich mythology, a really strong emphasis on education, and a proud history of rebellion. And there's a clear difference, isn't there, between the rugged Highlands, often linked with tradition, maybe mysticism, and the big cities like Glasgow, which feels more industrial, known for its gritty humor, a vibrant arts, and then Edinburgh, which is maybe more elegant, intellectual, deeply historical.
Absolutely. And Scotland's identity is just profoundly shaped by these key historical moments. They're not just dates. They're woven into the fabric of Scottishness. You have the Battle of Bannockburn in 1314, a huge Scottish victory over the English, really foundational for national pride. Then, the Acts of Union in 1707, formally joining Scotland and England, still debated today, that one. The Jacobite rebellions, attempts to restore a Scottish Catholic monarchy, ending with that devastating defeat at Culloden. Later, the Highland clearances in the 18th and 19th centuries, forced evictions for sheep farming, a time of massive social upheaval and bitterness. But Scotland also had the Scottish Enlightenment, didn't it? An 18th century boom in philosophy, science, showing its intellectual power. And more recently, devolution in 1999 gave Scotland its own parliament. And that 2014 independence referendum resulted in a vote to remain in the UK, but only just. The debate on self-determination, well, it definitely continues.
It's so clear that history is really alive and kicking in Scotland. So how do those big historical narratives and that fierce identity translate into the popular traditions you see today?
Oh, they absolutely permeate everything. Take Hogmanay, the Scottish New Year. It's often a bigger deal than Christmas itself. That shows a unique calendar of celebration. Then there's Burns Night, January 25th, a heartfelt tribute to the national poet Robert Burns, complete with haggis, whiskey. It's a profound display of cultural pride that night.
Yeah.
And of course, the iconic Highland Games. You see caber tossing, hear the bagpipes. These aren't just sports meets. They're living symbols of heritage and community spirit.
And the music, does it echo that same blend of deep tradition and modern independence?
Very much so. You have the traditional instruments, bagpipes, fiddles, they're everywhere. And the unofficial national anthem, Flower of Scotland, which is incredibly powerful, full of national pride. But there's also this thriving, really distinct indie rock scene. Bands like Franz Ferdinand, Bell, and Sebastian, showing a modern, often quite edgy, artistic side. And you've got global pop superstars like Lewis Capaldi and Calvin Harris, proving Scotland's contemporary relevance worldwide.
Right, prepare your taste buds for Scottish cuisine. You have to start with haggis, don't you? That savory pudding, sheep's offal, oats, spices. It's the national dish, usually served with neeps and tatties, turnips, and potatoes. For something comforting, maybe Colin skink. That creamy smoked haddock soup. Delicious. And you absolutely cannot visit Scotland without trying Earn Brew, that bright orange soda. It actually outsells Coca-Cola there, believe it or not. But the true national pride, the national drink, has to be whiskey, Scotch, with all those distinct regional varieties, Islay, Speyside, each one telling a story of the land.
And beyond the plate, how Scots present themselves is equally symbolic, especially with traditional clothing. The kilt immediately springs to mind, obviously. Those intricate tartan patterns, often tied to specific clans. They're worn proudly at formal events, Highland Games, a really vibrant visual link to heritage and family pride. And complementing the kilt is the sporran, that small pouch worn at the front.
Scotland's national symbols are just as iconic. The thistle, the national flower. Prickly but beautiful. And the legendary Loch Ness monster, Nessie, has captured imaginations worldwide, hasn't she? Adds that layer of mystery.
Then the country's produced so many significant people, pop culture icons. People who really embody that Scottish spirit. Robert Burns, obviously, the national poet, inspires Burns Night every year. Actor Sean Connery, legendary James Bond, hailed from Scotland. Ewan McGregor, too. Writers like Sir Walter Scott. And let's not forget the Edinburgh Festival Fringe, the world's largest arts festival. A massive explosion of creativity, a huge cultural draw for the capital every summer.
Touring Scotland reveals those stunning cities and incredibly dramatic landscapes. Edinburgh with its famous castle perched on that ancient volcano and the historic Royal Mile winding down. Glasgow has the impressive Kelvingrove Museum showing off its industrial and artistic heritage. And then the Highlands, just vast. Home to Loch Ness, Ben Nevis, the UK's tallest mountain, and the breathtaking Isle of Skye. Evokes that ancient, untamed beauty, doesn't it?
Absolutely. And Scotland is rich in languages beyond English. You have Scottish Gaelic and the distinct Scots dialect, both fiercely protected. The Gaelic motto, Nemo me impune lacessit, translates to, no one provokes me with impunity. Powerful stuff. It's tied to the Scottish crown, too. Reflects that defiant spirit. Popular slang includes, dinna fash yourself, just means don't worry. Again, for small. And pure, dead, brilliant, meaning absolutely amazing. Captures that unique Scottish wit perfectly.
Okay, so from the fierce spirit of Scotland, steeped in history and its strong sense of self, we journey now to a land equally rooted in its ancient Celtic past, where song and language hold really deep significance. Wales, welcome to Wales, or Cymru, a land just brimming with deep Celtic heritage, strong links to mythology, oral storytelling, and this enduring national pride that really resonates. It's a proudly bilingual culture, isn't it? And the passion for rugby, well, it's almost like a religion, uniting communities. The Welsh people are often described as warm, poetic, quietly proud, maybe, reflecting their rugged landscapes and those tight-knit communities.
Wales's history is definitely a testament to its resilience and that ongoing fight to preserve its identity. It had Roman occupation forts like Caerleon are still there. The defeat of Prince Llewellyn ap Gruffudd in 1282 was a huge moment, marking a loss of Welsh independence. Followed by Owain Glyndwr's rebellion, a formidable uprising against English rule, though ultimately unsuccessful. Then the Laws and Wales Acts 1536 and 1543 formally annexed Wales into England, a key point in its integration. More recently, something that really stirred nationalist feeling was the Tryweryn Valley flooding in 1965. A Welsh-speaking village controversially drowned for a reservoir to supply Liverpool caused significant outrage, really fueled the drive for self-governance. And this history sort of culminates in Welsh devolution between 97 and 99. That granted Wales its own legislature, the Senedd, its parliament, allowing it to govern many of its own affairs.
It's so clear that these historical moments, especially that fight for language and land, have deeply shaped Welsh identity. How do those powerful feelings manifest in the vibrant traditions and daily life of Wales today?
They're absolutely central. The Eisteddfod, for example, is paramount. It's this national celebration of poetry, music, the Welsh language, bringing communities together in a really profound display of cultural heritage. And the passion around rugby matches, especially at Principality Stadium in Cardiff. It's something else. More than a sport, it's a national obsession that just unites the country. St. David's Day, March 1st, honors their patron saint. Celebrated with daffodils and leeks, those symbols of national pride. And for something really unique, there's the Mari Lwyd, a fascinating midwinter tradition involving a decorated horse skull. Echoes ancient folk customs. Very atmospheric. Beyond those, things like Welsh cakes, hymns singing, and the incredibly powerful performances of male voice choirs. They're deeply woven into daily life, embodying that idea of Wales as the land of song.
Speaking of song, that musical tradition in Wales is exceptionally strong, isn't it?
Yes, the choral heritage is world-renowned. Those male voice choirs, the hymns, they're a cornerstone of Welsh culture. The national anthem is Hen Wlad Fynadau, Land of My Fathers, sung with immense pride. And the country's produced global icons like Tom Jones, Shirley Bassey, along with modern bands like the Manic Street Preachers. Shows a vibrant contemporary scene alongside those deep roots.
Let's talk food. You can't miss Welsh cakes, can you? Those little griddle cakes with dried fruit dusted with sugar, perfect with a cuppa. Then there's cawl, that hearty traditional lamb and leek stew, proper comfort food. And for something really unique, laver bread, edible seaweed, often fried with oats and bacon, a traditional Welsh delicacy, quite distinctive. Or for something sweet, bara breath, that speckled bread, a rich fruit loaf.
Exactly. And the national flower is the daffodil, that bright symbol of spring and Welsh identity. The leek is another powerful ancient symbol too. And in the skies, you'll often see the red kite, a majestic bird of prey that's made this remarkable comeback in Wales after being endangered, a powerful symbol of conservation success.
Wales has gifted the world some incredible figures who really embody its creative spirit. The poet Dylan Thomas, obviously. Children's author Roald Dahl, he was born in Cardiff. Actors like Catherine Zeta-Jones and Anthony Hopkins, all Welsh. And it's home to huge TV shows like Doctor Who, much of it filmed there, and the beloved comedy Gavin and Stacey, showcasing Welsh humor and landscapes.
And as for key locations, Cardiff's the vibrant capital, home to the Senedd, Cardiff Castle, blending Roman and Norman history. Swansea's a notable coastal city with a strong cultural scene, and you can explore those majestic medieval strongholds like Conwy Castle, part of Edward VI's Iron Ring, really impressive fortifications. And no mention of Wales is complete without Snowdonia National Park, home to your Wyddfa, or Snowdon, the highest peak in Wales, surrounded by just stunning, dramatic landscapes. You can see why it inspires poets and hikers alike.
And crucially, the language. The Welsh language, Cymraeg, it's a national treasure, isn't it?
Yeah.
Deeply cherished, very much alive. You see bilingual road signs everywhere.
Everywhere. It's fundamental. The national motto, Why Dydrig Goch Diddery Sequin, means the red dragon inspires action, reflects the fiery spirit of their national emblem. And for some local slang, you might hear tidy used to mean great or good, but as a term for mate, especially in the South, and a quitch. It's more than just a cuddle. It's this deeply comforting, safe, affectionate embrace, really unique to Welsh culture.
So connecting this to the bigger picture, Wales offers this powerful sense of enduring identity, shaped by language, history, a deep connection to its land. Now let's jump from these ancient Celtic roots to the buzzing, dynamic, global heart of the UK. London, it's truly one of the most diverse cities on the planet, isn't it? Over 300 languages spoken, apparently. It's this fascinating blend of ancient royal tradition and, cutting-edge urban modernity. A hub for vibrant immigrant communities from the Caribbean, South Asia, Africa, Eastern Europe. Everywhere have just fundamentally shaped its character over decades. World-class museums, galleries, universities, and somehow it manages to be simultaneously posh and gritty, polished and punk. A real global crossroads.
Its history is just as layered as its culture. Understanding that past is key to its present energy. Founded by the Romans as Londinium way back in 43 AD, the Great Fire of London in 1666 destroyed much of the medieval city, leading to this huge rebuild, shaping iconic bits like St. Paul's. It survived multiple plague outbreaks over centuries, and during World War II, the Blitz. London was heavily bombed, fostering this collective spirit of resilience, the Blitz spirit. Crucially, the post-war rebuilding and its cultural shaping were massively influenced by the Windrush generation. People arriving from the Caribbean from 1948 onwards, bringing immense cultural richness and diversity that still defines the city today.
So this blend of ancient history, royal tradition, global influence, how does that actually manifest in London's iconic traditions, particularly those big public displays that draw millions?
They perfectly captured that blend, I think. You can witness the precise ceremony of the changing of the guard at Buckingham Palace, centuries-old royal tradition, but contrast that with the Notting Hill Carnival, a vibrant Caribbean street festival, an explosion of music, color, food, born directly from London's diverse communities. Or the Trooping the Color Parade. Pure military precision and royal pageantry. These traditions really highlight London's ability to hold on to its heritage while constantly evolving and embracing new cultures. It does both.
And London is a music powerhouse. It's undeniable.
Absolutely. The city's a true birthplace for genres that went global. Grime, UK garage, Punk the Clash, Sex Pistols, they started here.
Right.
Reflecting different parts of urban life. Rebellion, Britpop too, with bands like Blur, Oasis, emerged from London's scene in the 90s. And the city continues to be home to global stars. Think Adele, David Bowie, cementing its status as this creative hub that constantly reinvents its sound.
The food scene reflects that global influence too, doesn't it? It's incredibly diverse. Beyond the traditional fish and chips or pie and mash, which are still great London staples, you find this huge influence of curries, especially Brick Lane. West African food, Jamaican food, Turkish cuisine, each a testament to the city's rich immigrant contributions. And places like Borough Market, just a sensory explosion of international flavors. A real food hub.
And London is unequivocally a global fashion capital, hosts London Fashion Week. It's the origin point for so many diverse aesthetics: streetwear, mod style, punk, goth, grime aesthetics. These aren't just clothes, they're cultural statements born from the city's streets and subcultures, constantly influencing trends worldwide.
Even in this massive, bustling city, you can find these surprisingly peaceful green spaces. The Royal Parks, Hyde Park, Regent's Park, teeming with wildlife too. Urban foxes, squirrels everywhere, and even those bright green parakeets, an unexpected splash of the tropics in the concrete jungle.
London is just synonymous with famous people and pop culture icons. It's home base for the royal family, obviously. Shakespeare's Globe Theatre recreates his enduring legacy on the South Bank. There are strong Harry Potter connections, filming locations everywhere, iconic literary figures like Sherlock Holmes at 221B Baker Street, and contemporary celebrities, the influential rapper Stormzy, global pop star Dua Lipa, all contributing to London's magnetic draw.
And the landmarks are instantly recognizable, aren't they? Defining the skyline. Big Ben, the London Eye, the historic Tower of London, Buckingham Palace, and its transport system, the Underground, the Tube. It's more than just transport, it's a cultural experience in itself, navigating those lines.
While English is dominant, London's linguistic diversity is immense and always evolving. You'll hear Multicultural London English, or MLE. It's this modern dialect influenced by Jamaican patois, Nigerian English, Cockney, reflecting that melting pot. The city of London itself has a motto, Domine dirige nos, Lord guide us.
Ah.
As for slang, you might hear peng for attractive or good. In it, tagged onto sentences, bear, meaning a lot of. And of course, the absolutely omnipresent mind the gap echoing through every tube station. A truly quintessential London phrase.
Right, so from the bustling, globally diverse streets of London, let's now turn our attention to perhaps the more enduring symbols of tradition, hierarchy, and academic excellence that have shaped British identity at its highest levels. Thinking about the British nobility and its associated institutions like Oxbridge and Windsor, yeah, this section looks at the British nobility, which, for many, is this profound symbol of British excellence, tradition, hierarchy. It's intrinsically linked to academic prestige, isn't it? Epitomized by Oxford and Cambridge universities, to royalty centered around Windsor, and to that timeless, often imposing architecture. Now, this world is definitely associated with elitism, intellectualism, but what's maybe insightful is how, even today, this inherited prestige, the networks it fosters, they still subtly, yet profoundly, seem to shape opportunities, influence decision-making across British society. Sparks ongoing debates, doesn't it, about merit versus birthright.
It's fascinating how deeply rooted these institutions are. Oxford and Cambridge, founded incredibly early, between the 11th and 13th centuries, deeply tied to religious and state history, evolving from medieval monastic schools. And Windsor Castle has served as a royal residence for over 1,000 years, a true stronghold of the monarchy, a living piece of British history. It's also important to remember the Magna Carta, that foundational document for rule of law, limiting royal power, was signed nearby at Runnymede in 1215, connecting the very origins of British governance to the sphere.
Given that deep history, the traditions here are really unique and, for many people, quite iconic. What are some of those key rituals that define this world?
Well, you have the grand royal ceremonies like trooping the color, the changing of the guard at Windsor, precise centuries-old displays of pageantry. Then there are the very distinct Oxbridge rituals, formal hall dinners in these ancient dining halls, May balls, these incredibly elaborate end-of-year celebrations, the famous boat races between Oxford and Cambridge on the Thames each spring, punting on the rivers Cherwell or Cam, and that traditional subfusc academic dress worn for exams and ceremonies, a unique symbol of centuries of university ritual. Even Eton College, the famous public school near Windsor, has its unique traditions, like the bizarre Eton Wall game.
And while it's not a specific music genre, there's definitely a distinct sound associated with this world, wouldn't you say?
Yes, I think so. The sphere is strongly associated with classical music, choral singing. The King's College Choir at Cambridge is world famous for its excellence, especially its Christmas Eve broadcast. Interestingly, though, artists like the band Radiohead came out of Oxford, and Clean Bandit are Cambridge graduates. Shows that contemporary music talent absolutely emerges from these traditional academic environments, too. And those ceremonial songs like Jerusalem or Elgar's Pomp and Circumstance, deeply associated with these institutions and royal events, evoke that sense of national pride and tradition.
When it comes to food and cuisine here, it leans towards classic English fine dining, right? Thinking of high table dinners in grand college halls, maybe buttered crumpets for tea, and the famous Eton Mess, the delightful dessert, strawberries, meringue, cream, originated at Eton College, as the name suggests. A very refined, traditional kind of culinary experience.
And the clothing and style are highly distinctive. They speak volumes about status and tradition. You'll see classic British tweed, elegant wool coats, perhaps Oxford shoes. Academic gowns are still worn by students and professors for ceremonies, a direct link back to medieval times. Royal wear includes formal military dress, sashes, tiaras for state occasions, and Eton College uniforms are famously strict black tailcoats, stiff collars, embodying discipline and heritage. Though it's also worth noting how modern Oxford students have developed their own kind of highbrow hipster fashion, blending tradition with contemporary style in interesting ways.
And of course, these institutions, these royal grounds, they're characterized by those formal gardens, meticulously manicured lawns, symbols of order, beauty, timelessness.
And so many prominent figures who've shaped British and world history are tied to this sphere. Sir Isaac Newton, Stephen Hawking, Cambridge giants, J.R.R. Tolkien, C.S. Lewis, key figures at Oxford, showcasing that incredible intellectual legacy. Members of the royal family have lived or studied here for centuries, and numerous British prime ministers are Eton alumni, demonstrating that close link between these institutions and national leadership. In pop culture, too, TV shows like The Crown, films like The Theory of Everything, even Harry Potter, famously filmed in Oxford colleges, they draw heavily on these settings, further cementing their iconic status.
The landmarks are instantly recognizable, evoking that strong sense of history and prestige. Oxford has the magnificent Radcliffe Camera, the Bodleian Library. Cambridge boasts the stunning King's College Chapel, the Backs, along the River Cam, and Windsor Castle, standing proud as the largest inhabited castle in the world, a true seat of royal power. The architecture throughout these areas, defined by Gothic spires, neoclassical halls, ancient stone colleges, wrought iron gates, creates a unique, enduring aesthetic.
And the dominant language here, historically at least, is often Queen's English, or received pronunciation, RP. Associated with education, the upper classes. Latin mottos are common, reflecting those ancient roots. Oxford's is Dominus Illuminatio Mea, the Lord is my light. The royal motto is Dieu est mon droit, French for God on my right. Slang is pretty rare in these formal contexts. There's a clear preference for polished formal speech, emphasizes tradition and decorum.
So what does this all mean, bringing it all together after looking at these distinct areas?
Well, this deep dive has really, I think, revealed the incredible diversity within the UK. It's quite striking, from the deep Celtic heartlands of Wales and the resilient spirit of Northern Ireland, to the fierce independence of Scotland, the sheer global dynamism of London, and these enduring traditions of British nobility and its institutions. Our sources clearly show that each region, while part of this larger entity, holds a distinct, valuable cultural identity. It's definitely a mosaic, not a monolith.
Yeah, hopefully you've just gained a fantastic shortcut to understanding that complex, vibrant tapestry of the UK. Moving past the simple headlines, to really appreciate the depth of its cultures and histories, hopefully you've had some of those aha moments along the way, picking up memorable details, maybe some surprising facts that illuminate the nuances.
And perhaps a final thought to leave you with. Considering these really distinct identities that make up the UK, what responsibility does a unified nation actually have to preserve and celebrate these individual cultural nuggets, especially when facing modern pressures or, indeed, political changes? It's a fascinating question of balance, isn't it?
It's a great question to ponder. We definitely encourage you to continue your own exploration, maybe seek out some of the music, the films, even the food we mentioned from a region that particularly intrigued you. Join us next time for another deep dive.